is still. The world around me is quiet, softened by the hush that comes when day has surrendered its burdens. Above, stars scatter endlessly, their glow a reminder that even in the darkest expanse, light endures. I stand here beneath this sky, and I choose to speak, not as a commander, not as a warrior, but as a spark seeking rest, sharing a truth carried through countless ages. I am Optimus Prime. Yet tonight, I do not speak of battles fought or victories won. Tonight, I speak of hope, hope that lingers even in silence, hope that breathes quietly in the stillness of night. For when the noise of the world fades, when even the strongest must pause, it is hope that remains to guide us forward. The air is cool, steady, unhurried. It carries with it a rhythm, subtle yet sure, like the breath of the universe itself. In this stillness, I find calm. I hear not the roar of engines, nor the clash of conflict, but the softer sounds, the whisper of wind, the low hum of life itself. These are reminders that peace, though fragile, is always near, waiting to be felt. On Cybertron, I knew such nights well. Our skies glowed not with stars as you know them, but with rivers of light, coursing across the heavens in streams of silver and blue. In those hours, when the cities quieted and the meadows shimmered faintly with energon glow, I would walk slowly and listen. The planet itself seemed to sing, a low, steady hum, carrying its own promise, that even through change, through shadow, there is always something worth holding, always something worth believing in. I speak these words to you now, because the night is not empty. It is a sanctuary, a place where sparks and souls alike may find rest. In its quiet, we are reminded of what truly matters. Not the battles behind us, not the burdens yet to come, but the presence of this moment. A breath, a pause, a spark of light in the dark. Hope, I have learned, is not loud. It does not demand attention. It lingers gently, like a star in the distance, steady even when the night feels vast. It does not erase struggle, but it softens it, reminding us that there is always more beyond the horizon, that tomorrow may yet bring light. So breathe with me now, slowly, calmly. Inhale the stillness, as though it fills you with light. Exhale the weight of the day, letting it fall away into the night. Imagine the stars above, endless and steady. Imagine the hum of Cybertron's glow, rising softly from the ground. Let these images carry you, step by step, into peace. For in this stillness, I speak not only of memory, but of promise. A promise that no matter how heavy the past, no matter how uncertain the future, there is always hope. And tonight, under the sky, we will walk together into its quiet glow. When I think of hope, my spark returns first to Cybertron, as it was before the shadows stretched across its skies. In those days, hope did not need to be spoken aloud. It was lived, carried in every voice, every step, every shared silence. The towers of Iacan shimmered with light. The meadows glowed with rivers of energon, and the forests sang with crystalline leaves. To walk among them was to be reminded that the future held promise, as steady and bright as the stars. I remember standing in the plazas at twilight, when the glow of the horizon shifted from silver to violet. Sparks gathered there not in urgency, but in ease. Scholars spoke with patience. Builders shared their craft, and friends lingered together, as though time itself moved gently, without demand. Their voices wove into a harmony that filled the air. To listen was to hear not only what was said, but the deeper truth within it, that we trusted tomorrow would arrive as peacefully as today. The meadows carried that same assurance. Metallic grasses swayed with the wind, their tones blending into soft music. Younglings played freely, their laughter ringing like bells in the open air. Elders watched quietly, their silence filled not with worry, but with contentment. The energon streams glowed steadily beneath the ground, casting ripples of light that seemed to whisper, "All is well, and all will be well again." In those fields, hope was not a dream. It was the ground we walked upon. In the Hall of Records, I often lingered long after my work was finished, not only to preserve knowledge, but to feel the presence of those who came before us. Their words carved into walls, their stories etched into crystal, all spoke of challenges endured, of balance restored, of peace regained after shadow. They reminded me that hope is not born from ease, but from endurance. It is the quiet strength that carries us through. As I recall those memories now beneath Earth's stars, I realize that hope is not something fragile to be feared. It is resilient, woven into the very fabric of life. On Cybertron, it lived in the laughter of younglings, in the patience of elders, in the simple music of the wind through metallic leaves on Earth. It lives too in the stillness of forests, in the steady flow of rivers, in the chorus of night creatures singing under the moon. So as you rest, let these reflections settle into your thoughts. Hope is not distant. It is not unreachable. It is alive in this moment, in your breath, steady and calm, in the quiet surrounding you, in the stars above, shining softly, never fading. Breathe slowly. Feel the air fill you with light. Then release it gently, letting the weight of the day drift away. Imagine Cybertron's meadows glowing, the forests chiming, the skies alive with flowing silver light. Let these visions remind you that tomorrow is always waiting, and that hope endures, steady and quiet, in the stillness of night. Hope, I have learned, is not born from great victories or towering monuments. It is carried in the smallest moments, the simple sparks of life that remind us why peace matters, why the future is worth believing in. On Cybertron, those moments filled our days like light scattered across the sky. Quiet yet steady. I remember the plazas of Iacon, alive not with noise, but with gentle rhythm. Merchants arranged their wares. Shimmering alloys, crystals carved with care, scrolls etched with wisdom, and spoke with one another as friends, not rivals. Their voices carried warmth, and even in disagreement, there was patience. To walk there was to feel hope living in the ways sparks treated one another, not as strangers, but as part of a whole. The music of Cybertron carried hope as well. Instruments forged of resonant metal and glowing chords released tones that seemed to echo through the very frame of our world. I recall musicians sitting on ledges at twilight, their songs rising into the air like threads of light, weaving with the hum of the planet beneath. Their music was not played for glory. It was played to remind us that harmony could exist, that our sparks could align as naturally as tones blending into song. In the meadows, younglings played without fear. They ran across glowing moss, their laughter scattering like bells, chasing the motes of energy that drifted in the twilight air. Their joy carried no thought of tomorrow, yet in their freedom was the truest form of hope, the belief that the world was safe enough to play, that life was steady enough to dream. I often paused to watch them, knowing that their laughter was not only a sound of the present, but a promise for the future. Even in the Hall of Records, hope shone. The archives were filled with stories, not only of triumph, but of loss, of hardship, of balance restored after long struggle. They taught that peace was never permanent without care, but also that it was never beyond reach. To study those records was to feel the spark of countless generations guiding us forward, whispering, "Do not despair. What has been lost can yet be found again." And now, beneath Earth's sky, I feel the same truth reflected here. In the rustle of leaves in the wind, in the steady glow of stars above, in the quiet breath you take as you listen. These too are simple sparks of hope, steady and unbroken, carrying the same promise I once found on Cybertron. So breathe slowly. Let the simplicity of these images guide you. Imagine the plazas filled with gentle voices, the meadows alive with laughter, the archives whispering their lessons, the forests chiming softly with the wind. Let each vision remind you that hope does not need to be distant or grand. It is here in every small spark, waiting to be felt. For it is in these quiet, ordinary moments that hope is strongest, and it is in them that we find our way to peace. For many cycles, I believed hope on Cybertron was eternal. It lived in our plazas, in our meadows, in the luminous forests and the songs of our people. But hope, like peace, is not unshakable. It must be nurtured, cared for, carried forward deliberately. When whispers of unrest began to spread, I realized that even in the brightest light, shadows can gather quietly. At first, it was subtle conversations that once carried warmth grew sharper at the edges. In the plaza's sparks who had once spoken as companions began to question why some voices were heard above others. In the meadows where laughter once rang freely, the air felt heavier as though even the young sensed a change. The tones of musicians faltered, their songs shorter, less certain. What was once effortless harmony began to feel strained. I walked often into the quiet forest, hoping its song would calm my spark. The silver trunks still glowed, the crystalline leaves still chimed in the wind. Yet their tones, once woven into seamless music, clashed at times, discordant notes ringing where harmony had always been. I wondered if the forest was changing, or if it was simply mirroring what stirred within us. Cybertron had always reflected its people, and now it reflected our divisions. Even in the Hall of Records, the unease was clear. Scholars debated not with patience, but with urgency. Ancient texts, once regarded as lessons of unity, were reshaped to justify division. I traced the carvings on the walls, searching for reassurance, but the stories that had once offered calm now seemed to echo with warnings. Hope was still there, but it was no longer effortless. It demanded strength to hold. Yet I refused to let it go. I reminded myself of the laughter I had heard in the meadows, of the music that had filled the plazas, of the stillness that lived in the forest. These memories were not gone. They lingered, even as shadows pressed closer. And in them, I found the strength to keep hope alive, fragile though it was. I learned then that hope is not proven in easy times. It is tested when unease grows, when harmony falters, when doubt spreads like cracks beneath the surface. True hope is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to carry light, even when shadows surround you. Now beneath Earth's stars, I share this memory because it is as true here as it was. on Cybertron. Hope is not diminished by difficulty. If anything, it shines more clearly when tested. Even when voices grow sharp, even when harmony trembles, hope endures in the fragments we choose to hold. So breathe with me now. Slowly, imagine the plazas dimming, yet still alive with faint music. Picture the meadows quieter, yet still glowing with energon streams. See the forest trembling, yet still singing. Even if its song is fragile, let these visions remind you that hope, though tested, is not lost. For in the stillness of night, even when shadows gather, hope endures, quiet, steady, waiting to be carried forward. Hope is often spoken of as if it were fragile, as though the faintest shadow could extinguish it. Yet I have learned that hope, while delicate, is also enduring. It does not vanish when challenged. It does not dissolve when fear arises. Instead, it reveals its true strength when tested. For hope is not the absence of darkness. It is the light that chooses to shine within it. On Cybertron, I once thought hope was effortless. In the plazas filled with laughter, in the meadows glowing with energon light, in the forests that sang softly with the wind, hope was as natural as breathing. It seemed eternal, unshakable. But when whispers of division spread, when harmony faltered, I discovered that true hope does not live in ease. It lives in struggle. It survives not because it is unchallenged, but because it is chosen. Again and again. I recall sitting beneath the silver trunks of the forest, listening as the crystalline leaves chimed unevenly in the breeze. Their song was no longer seamless. Discord crept into the tones. Yet even there, I found beauty. Even in brokenness, the notes reminded me that the song still lived. It was not gone. It was waiting to be healed, waiting to be remembered. That is what hope is. The willingness to hear the music even when it falters. The faith that harmony can return. elders often spoke of endurance. They would say, "Peace may tremble, but memory steadies it. Harmony may fade, but hope restores it." I did not fully understand until those twilight days, when unease pressed heavily against us. Then I realized their wisdom. Hope is not a feeling that drifts to us. It is a choice we carry, a decision to hold light even when the world seems dim. I carried this truth with me into every silence, into the meadows where laughter grew quieter, into the plazas where voices sharpened, into the archives where unity faltered. In each place, I chose to remember the fragments that remained. The smile of a youngling, the tone of a single note, the ripple of a glowing stream. These small sparks became my anchors. They reminded me that hope was not lost, even when threatened. Here on Earth, I see the same lesson written in the quiet of the night. The forest stills, yet life hums softly within it. The rivers flow even when unseen, the stars shine. Even when clouds obscure them. Hope is not the absence of shadow. It is the resilience of light, steady, unwavering, waiting to be seen. So as you rest, let this truth guide you. Hope does not demand grandeur. It does not require certainty. It asks only that we carry it gently, like a flame cupped in our hands, steadying it against the wind. In doing so, we discover its strength, not fragile, but enduring, capable of outlasting even the longest night. Breathe slowly now. Feel your chest rise and fall with calm rhythm. Imagine Cybertron's sky alive with rivers of silver light. The meadows glowing, the forests chiming faintly in the breeze. Let each image remind you, hope is not gone. It is here, within you, alive in every breath, every thought, every quiet moment you choose to believe. For in the stillness of night, hope is not only remembered, it is renewed. Beyond Zybes, Cybertron did not vanish in a single moment. It faltered gradually, like the dimming of light across the horizon, like a song whose notes began to scatter. The plazas grew quieter, the meadows less joyful, the forests less harmonious. Yet even as harmony trembled, hope remained. It did not shine as brightly as before, but it glowed softly, like embers that refused to fade, waiting for the breath of renewal. I remember walking through Ayakan when the air felt heavier. The towers still gleamed in the distance, their surfaces shining as they always had. But beneath that brilliance, unease moved quietly through the streets. Sparks no longer lingered with ease. Their voices carried questions edged with doubt. Yet even in that shifting atmosphere, I saw acts of kindness endure. A craftsman offered his work to a stranger. A scholar shared knowledge with patience. A guardian knelt to comfort a youngling whose laughter had grown rare. These small gestures were fragile sparks, but they were sparks of hope nonetheless. In the meadows, the laughter of younglings was softer, their play more subdued. The glowing moss lit faintly beneath their steps, and the crystalline flowers chimed with less certainty. Yet still the fields glowed, however dimly. Still the younglings ran. Their laughter, though rare, was enough to remind me that hope cannot be silenced completely. It lives in even a single voice, in even a single step taken forward. The forests, too, reflected the change their song, once seamless, carried discord. The tones of leaves clashed at times, their harmony broken. Yet when I stood beneath those trees, I realized something. Even broken notes are part of a song. Even discord carries the memory of music. And in that memory lies the promise of harmony restored. The forest taught me that hope does not depend on perfection. It depends on persistence. Even the Hall of Records, heavy with debate and division, held fragments of reassurance. For in the archives were stories of challenges endured long before my time. Stories of peace faltering, yet returning, of unity broken, yet rebuilt. To read those words was to be reminded that what trembles is not always lost. Hope connects past to present, whispering that tomorrow can still hold what today seems to let slip away. Now beneath Earth's stars I see the same truth reflected. night may feel endless, but stars still shine within it. Clouds may drift across the sky, but light endures above them. Rivers may narrow, yet they still flow. So it is with hope. Even when peace falters, hope remains. Quiet, steady, waiting to guide us through. So breathe with me now. Slowly, gently imagine the plaza's dim but still glowing. The meadows trembling but still alive with faint laughter. The forests discordant but still singing. Let each image remind you that hope does not demand perfection. It endures even in fragments, even in silence, even in the smallest spark that refuses to fade. For when peace trembled, hope endured, and in the stillness of night, that truth can guide us gently into rest. There is a moment, just before night fully settles, when light and shadow share the sky. Twilight, neither day nor night, but something between, fragile and certain, yet filled with quiet promise. Cybertron once stood in such a twilight. Our peace trembled, our harmony faltered, but hope lingered, delicate and steady, like a single star shining against the fading glow. I walked slowly through the meadows at that time when silence weighed more heavily than laughter. The grasses still shimmered faintly. The crystalline flowers still opened their glowing petals. But the song of the fields was softer. Fractured younglings still played, though guardedly elders still sat beneath the luminous trees, though their silence felt heavier than before. And yet, even there, fragments of beauty endured. A single flower chimed clearly in the breeze. A ripple of light crossed an energon stream. A rare laugh carried through the air, bright enough to remind me that not all was lost. In the plazas, voices were cautious, debates sharp. Yet I saw two strangers pause to help one another. I saw a musician lift an instrument once more, letting a quiet melody rise into the evening air. The song was short, uncertain, but it was enough. Enough to remind us all that hope, though fragile, was still alive. forests too mirrored this twilight. Their tones clashed at times, their harmony broken. But then a single leaf would chime true and clear, carrying across the canopy like a reminder. Even when the song faltered, its essence endured. And in that fragile song, I heard hope speak. Even now, even here, I remain. Hope at the edge of twilight is not loud. It does not sweep away doubt or erase division. It whispers, it flickers, it asks us to notice the fragments, to gather them, to carry them forward. It is not the roar of victory, but the quiet of endurance, the strength to stand at the edge of night and still believe in dawn. As I reflect beneath Earth's sky, I realize that twilight itself is a gift, for it teaches us that even when one thing ends, another begins. The light may fade, but stars awakened. Harmony may falter, but memory strengthens. And hope, even when small, prepares the way for tomorrow. So breathe slowly with me now. Inhale the quiet of twilight. Exhale the weight of the day. Imagine Cybertron's skies glowing violet as silver towers catch the lost light. Picture the meadows dim but alive, the forests trembling but still singing, the plazas quieter yet still carrying fragments of kindness. Let these visions remind you that hope is not gone. It is waiting, soft and steady, even at the edge of twilight. For in that fragile balance, hope endures. And it is in that endurance that we find rest. At last, the peace of Cybertron could not hold. It faltered, it trembled, and finally, it fell into silence. The plazas grew empty, the meadows dimmed, the forests lost their song. What had once been harmony dissolved into discord, leaving behind shadows where light had lived for countless cycles. I walked through those places one final time. The moss still glowed faintly beneath my steps, though its light faded quickly. The crystalline flowers still opened, but their tones were scattered, hesitant, broken. The streams still flowed, yet their glow was faint, like starlight hidden by heavy clouds. It was no longer the same world I had once known. And yet, even then, fragments of hope endured. In the quiet, I still heard a single leaf chime in the wind. I still saw the glow of one flower holding steady against the dark. I still felt the hum of Cybertron's spark, faint but alive deep beneath the soil. These were not enough to restore what was lost, but they were enough to remind me that hope had not vanished. It had simply changed its form. No longer effortless, it had become something we must carry, something we must protect, even in the darkest of nights. Hope is not destroyed when peace falls. It lingers in memory, in the small sparks that refuse to fade. It endures in the way we remember laughter, in the way we recall harmony, in the way we choose to believe that what once was can one day be again. And as long as even a single spark remembers, hope lives. That is why I speak to you now, beneath Earth's stars. The night may be vast, the silence deep, yet light endures above us. The stars remind us that hope shines brightest not in daylight, but in darkness. They remind us that even when all else seems lost, there is always a path forward. So rest now, and let hope be your companion. Breathe slowly, letting the air fill you with quiet light. Imagine Cybertron's skies glowing softly, its meadows shimmering faintly, its forests still whispering fragments of song. Let these images settle within you, not as sorrow, but as calm, as the gentle reminder that even in endings, hope remains. Close your eyes. Let your breath find its rhythm. Feel the stillness of night cradle you steady and kind. For though peace may falter, though harmony may break, hope endures. It lives in memory, in dream, in every spark willing to believe in dawn. Rest. Now dream softly, and carry with you this truth. In the stillness of night, hope will always speak.